You want it? We have it. The hottest mortgage and real estate strategy broadcast in the nation. A Smarter Way Home with your host, Danielle Boote and Victor Bals. 50 years combined experience, ranked in the top 1% in the nation for home loan originations 2020. Promise to expand your knowledge, utilizing creative mortgage financing and home buying strategies. Build a bridge for a better quality of life. Get your brain cells firing for a smarter way home. And welcome to another episode of A Smarter Way Home. We have modern mortgage and home buying solutions for both real estate professionals and consumers alike. My name is Victor Bals. I am your host. Over 20 years experience in the loan origination, and I kind of eat this stuff for breakfast along with my co-hostess. My co-hostess with the Moses, Mrs. Danielle Boote.
Good morning, Victor. How are you?
I am pretty good today. Today is another beautiful Thursday in Detroit.
It is.
And the weather's going to be beautiful, and both of us have very busy schedules today, so I'm glad we're going to do the show. And today's topic, we're going to kind of switch it up a little bit, more geared towards real estate professionals. What's on our agenda today, Danielle?
Yes, it is my pleasure to introduce my friend Alice Whited to the show today. Alice is the area director for Real Producers Magazine, Ann Arbor and Brighton. And Alice and I go back many, many years. We've been friends, I think, over 30 years, I hate to say. When Alice and I first met, I was new to the mortgage business, working as a processor, and she was an underwriter at the company that we both worked at the time.
A loan underwriter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And we ended up having our second children at about the same time, and even got together on our maternity leaves. I think I actually was laid off. I wasn't officially on a maternity leave. I was unemployed at the time when my second daughter was born. And we got together with our little ones to play. Yep. So both of my older two kids and her kids are real close in age. And now they're out of college, working adults, and doing really great things. But, you know, Alice has been in the mortgage lending real estate industry for what? Probably 35 years? I don't know. Once you say over 30, that's like a lot, right? Yeah. But we were teenagers, I think, when we got in the business. Yes, that's what I like to say.
Definitely.
Well, welcome aboard, Alice. How are you doing today, for one?
I'm doing fabulous, and thanks for the opportunity to join you today on the podcast. I certainly appreciate it. And yes, Danielle and I go back a long time. I've known Vic for a long time, so it's a pleasure to be here.
First question, what is Real Producers? What is this that you do, and what made you bring up this brainchild and how you're helping serve our real estate professionals in multi-counties?
Yes.
Actually. So tell us the story.
Okay. So Real Producers has been around since 2015. We're in over 150 markets across the country. It is a franchise, so I own the franchise that covers Washtenaw and Livingston County, and I call it Real Producers Ann Arbor Brighton, just because that rolls off the tongue a lot easier than Washtenaw and Livingston County. We go out to the top 300 producing agents in both counties. And we're a publication that is for realtors, about realtors, and the partners that they refer to us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you say it's the top 300 agents. How are these agents obtained? Where are you getting this data? What makes someone qualify for a Real Producers spotlight, I guess I could call it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We feature agents. So the top 300 agents, we get that data from the NMLS rankings. So it's the top 300 agents in both counties, and it specifically goes to those agents. So if you're number 301, you're not on the list and you're not receiving the publication, and you're not getting invited to the social events that we have as well. That's part of the platform. So in order to be on the cover, you need to be in the top 50 of the top 300 to be feature on the cover. And then we do other features as well, Rising Star features, celebrating leaders, and then we also do a feature on a partner in every monthly publication.
Wow, that's pretty interesting there. So how did you
how did you build the base and the followers, and what type of networking do you utilize this publication for? What a realtor use this publication for?
So we're for realtors about realtors. So what we have found in all the research that we've done is many realtors know each other, but they really don't know each other because it's very, we're a transactional business. We're always focused at providing the best service that we can for each transaction that we're doing.
And they're all independent contractors.
Yes,
So
exactly.
they're all self-employed, and they only know each other if they know each other. And if they don't know each other, then they don't know each other.
Right. So what we do with our features is we give the reader a deeper dive into understanding and getting to know that realtor. One of the things that I love about my appointments is every appointment I start off with, tell me your story. How'd you get in the business? Because I love people. I'm a people person. I love networking, and everybody has a different way that they got into the business. So that's what our writers try to do, is they try to take a deeper, dive into getting to know that realtor, what they're all about, what they're passionate about. And the story is how they want it to be. So if they want to include their families, they can. Lots of people include their families, their pets, their teams. So it's really about getting to know each other and on a different level.
Okay, and so of the top 300, how do you determine who goes on the cover, who's a rising star? How do you approach the people and make the determination that this is a good value added for our real estate professionals, and this needs to be the top story or something like that? How does that go about? That vetting process, I guess.
Yep. So to be on the cover, you've got to be a top producing agent in the top 50 of that top 300.
Okay.
And then for the other features, many of those are nominations. So many of those, either a broker owner, a sales manager, a team lead will nominate someone to be a rising star. That rising star feature is one of my favorites because those people aren't on the top 300 list. They're not getting the magazine on a monthly basis. They're not coming to the events. And when I ask for nominations and I call that person, they're blown away. They're so excited. And it's really a pat on the back, and it's really, it really builds their confidence. And then it gets other top producing agents, hey, look at this rising star who's been in the business maybe 3 to 5 years. They're not on the top, 300 list, but they've been nominated by their broker, owner, sales manager, team lead as somebody who's really knocking it out of the park. And they also can they can buy a portion of their feature as a brochure so that they can use that on listing appointments, however they want to, do that. They can put their logo on the back. So it's a great marketing piece that they can show people at listing appointments. Like, look at me, I'm on the cover of this magazine.
Well, I see a couple of benefits there. Is one, that rising star could utilize that market piece for listing presentations and all that to build credibility, but also to show the other top 300 agents that here is an up and shining star, and this person is doing the right things and building their business. Yeah, that could be very, very important, you know, especially the confidence thing, because, this industry, the mortgage and real estate is, although they're so different, they are very, very similar.
Yes.
And there's a lot of competition out there too.
And one of the things that I have found over the years, especially with real estate, is if the two agents have a good relationship, it makes the transaction so much smoother.
You mean the list agent and the buying
listing agent and the buying
transaction.
agent.
Yes.
So the more, and then when you think about COVID, right? Everything we've been through the last 2+ years, where people have worked from home, not been out as much. We don't have the networking that we used to have, even on a local real estate association basis. We need to have these realtors connected with one another so that there's a level of professionalism and trust there so that a transaction can be smoother.
Yeah, and I think collectively with the top 300 and these rising stars, because it raises the bar on our quality of the transaction amongst all the counties here.
Now, how long have you been publishing now?
I went to print in March of 21. So I launched, and what I mean by launch is when you launch a publication, you're starting from the ground zero, right? And I started the launch process in May of 2020 when real estate was deemed non-essential. What was I thinking? I don't know.
Well,
but
who would have known?
Well, in my household, I've been deemed non-essential for a long time. You know?
You're essential to us.
Yeah, right.
So I just went in because I was very passionate about it. It was an opportunity that a recruiter had called me about, and I had seen the publication in other offices. We have 3 other publications in the state of Michigan: Grand Rapids, Oakland County, and Wayne County. So I had been in other real estate offices, and I had seen the magazine. And as weird as like Twilight Zone moment, about 10 days after I saw the first one in a real estate office and my friend was on the cover, the recruiter called me. So the stars aligned. But I launched in May of 2020. I did everything via Zoom. So I did all my realtor interviews via Zoom and all my vendor appointments via Zoom. And when I had my very first social event, which those events are purely social, there's no agenda. It's just about cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and bringing the community together so that we can all network with each other. But the first event, I had many of my partners that came up and said, I want to give you a hug. I've never met you. We did everything via Zoom. So that was a great moment. And those social events people really do love. One of the mottos of Real Producers is connecting, elevating, and inspiring the real estate community and the partners that are referred by the agents.
Wow. So when we look at this thing, so now, because you were Zooming and now we're back to somewhat old school. We're going back to print.
Yeah.
In this digital world, we have somewhat of print, but I am assuming that publication is also given to the realtors in a digital format for utilizing for marketing purposes, or how would that work, or can they obtain that?
Yes, they can. So once you're featured in the publication, you have the ability to buy just your feature in, like a 4-page brochure. You can put your logo on the back, and then you do receive that digital version so that you can use it in social media, website, however you may like to use it.
Okay, yeah, because that's what you need. Everybody has to be digital, but
Absolutely.
I still like the hard print. I'm still old school.
I've got a stack of them in my office.
Hey, we still use a checkbook at our house.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I have one in my tote bag today.
Well, one of the really exciting things that I'm looking forward to with the publication is I'm excited to see. I want to know, you got to keep me posted, when the first rising star makes the cover.
Oh, that would be a good
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Would that be cool?
Yeah.
That would be almost a piece in the magazine within itself. So the challenge is to local realtors, if you've been a rising star, I want to see you in the top 50.
Yeah,
Get you on the cover.
That is a great point. That's a challenge that,
Think about the cool print thing that you could do between the original magazine and the new, the cover. Oh, that would be super cool. Actually.
Real Producers, it contributes to that rising star becoming a real producer.
Well, it's an interesting time in the market.
It is.
Okay. I mean, what is the average age of the real estate agent in Michigan right now? Does anybody know?
No, I do not know.
It's got to be about our age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a billion right now, but
and I'm younger. I'm younger than you. I'm
She's
not
about
quite a billion.
500 million.
But the average age of the real estate agent in Michigan used to be 57. My guess is it's creeping up to 58, 59. Okay. But there are a lot of younger agents, meaning 40 and under, that are absolutely in that rising star category or have grown already to be top producers. And, regardless of the age range, and this is why both Vic and I have got our children coming into the business behind us, right? For legacy planning.
Absolutely.
But we've also seen top producing realtors bring their adult children into the business as well, which is an interesting dynamic as well to move real estate forward. But any industry is always evolving,
right?
And we need a varied demographic, right, of real estate agents, loan professionals as well. So it's
especially the younger ones. they bring this boldness, these new ideas to help, I guess, the older individuals who are set in their ways. And they also bring the use of technology and the ease of use of that technology to get it out on the social platforms, because that is a very, very big part of the business now.
Yeah.
Are those social platforms there? And plus, just as home buyers coming in, they may want to work with someone younger or an up and shining star.
Yeah.
Question on being a top producer in the 300. I know, a lot of the top producers have teams. Okay. Now, do you base being a top producer off a team's production or an individual agent? How does that play? Does that play into the numbers at all?
So we usually are using the individual's numbers. However, when we have a team situation, I will take those numbers and combine them together, and to see what that volume is, to see if they qualify to be on the cover.
Right, because I know a lot of new agents coming into the industry may join a team or may not join a team, and there's benefits and, I guess, disadvantages of both. But to me, joining a team is very good to learn how the process rolls, right? And then, of course, doing it individually, you have to do every step of the process. And when you're doing all the admin, it doesn't allow you to prospect, which we need to be doing. So I like the idea of going into these teams, plugging in, learning the basics there too, because I know these teams are trying to recruit people, and I'm sure they would recruit a rising star.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I have an interesting story from my counterpart who runs Memphis Real Producers. He featured a rising star probably about 6 months ago. And in this market, when you have multiple offers coming in, one of the things that the listing agent may do is consider who the other agent is on the other side.
Exactly.
Right?
Just as like they consider who the lender is.
Exactly.
Because they want to know who they're working with and that it's going to be a smooth transaction.
Yep, exactly. So what happened to the person that was the rising star in Memphis? He won the offer, even though the offer wasn't the highest, price. He won the offer because he had recently been featured in Real Producers.
Wow.
And because the listing agent knows that it's a nomination process to be nominated by a rising star, he took that offer. So
again, credibility.
Yeah. It's definitely credibility, and we're very strategic, and we're very focused on making sure that we are consistent in the way that we do things. So it's definitely credibility for all involved, and for the partners like you guys. It's great to have your partnership.
Yeah, and let's segue into the vendors, like ourselves here, because I've been reading through the magazine, and you have we talk about credibility, and to be a vendor in the magazine, or I guess a supporter, you almost got to kind of be nominated as too, because we are the referrals of that rising star, of those teams, of them. And I was looking through, and you have lenders, title companies, home inspectors, appraisers. You have drone services in there as well. And you're gathering them names and those recommendations from the agents themselves?
Yes. So part of the interview process that I do is I find out first what their story is, how they got in the business. And then I always let them know at the end of our meeting, I'm going to be asking you for referrals. The publication is free to agents, and it's paid for by that partners who advertise in the publication. So I ask for referrals because we are a referral-based publication. It is not a pay-to-play. If you're not referred by a top producing agent, I don't even call you. So I ask them for all different kinds of leads. Basically, anybody who could benefit from being top of mind every month in a magazine that goes out to the top 300 producing agents would be a good fit to be a preferred partner with Real Producers.
Wow, that's very interesting. I thought it was a pay to play. No, this is strictly based off of merit and your production.
That's why we're in the magazine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were referred by numerous top producing agents.
Wow.
So it just goes to show the experience and the level of customer service that you guys provide.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So how do we get the word out about the magazine? to other agents and other vendors to help you get the word out of who's doing the right things around town?
So the magazine, we go off the top 300 according to the MLS numbers, and I get those numbers updated every January from the previous year. So the magazine automatically gets mailed out to those top 300 producers. So they automatically receive it. I get great feedback from agents how much they love the magazine. If the magazine doesn't show up, they're calling me saying, "Where is my magazine?" So what you guys can do and what other agents can do is really networking and talking to other people in our industry, talking about the value that you get from being a real producer's partner, and the value that the agent has received about being featured in the publication.
Okay, so as someone, because everybody gets their hands on the magazine, at some point, but I guess the less producing agents are the ones aspiring to be a top producer. Is there a way to contact these shining stars, these top producers, for mentorship in that? Do you have any networking for if an agent wants to do better? Can they do it through your magazine and some type of networking thing?
So to be a rising star feature, you need to be nominated by leadership. So and then I guess the best way for the rising star is once you're featured, you're not on the 300 list, but you start receiving the magazine. And then you start getting invited to the social events, which really helps you get in the room with other top producing agents to rub elbows. And it's a great way. Networking is a gift. It's easy. I think network is the best thing that we can do for each other, is to get in a room with like-minded top producing folks and get to know each other and talk about our industry and what we can do better for our industry.
So this really is an elite group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
God, I never knew that this was it's a club.
Yes.
You got to earn your way in.
You do. Yes.
I think I told you that a couple years ago, Vic, but you probably didn't listen. But that's
probably,
okay.
That's okay. I get that a lot. But no, I never realized that was the fundamentals of that. You got to earn your way in.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful publication. Very high class.
Oh, thank you.
High class paper, full color glossy print, which, you just don't see that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about it, and again, this will show our age. Even 10 or 15 years ago, remember the real estate books that used to come out?
The MLS books?
No, like the little publications.
Oh, for houses for sale.
Yeah, they would be like, it's your Big Boy, your Coney Island, And everybody always grabbed them. Like my husband will joke because that was my souvenir when we traveled. Didn't matter where we went in the country.
Right.
I was picking up a real estate book because I loved real estate and I wanted to see if I was on Mackinac Island. I wanted to see who was selling their Victorian, cottage that's 100 years old and how many millions those things are going for, or how long they've been on the market and stuff like that. So we really don't have that anymore, which used to be a way that a realtor could not only showcase their listings, but of course get their top of mind awareness out, right? Because there were realtors that, they had a page or they had 2 pages every single month in those publications. Now, how often do you publish?
We're a monthly publication.
Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Monthly publication. So you have 12 real producers and you have 12 aspiring stars. At any given time, do you have more than one aspiring star because they kind of, they make the cuts there, or it's just a unique story?
So we always have a top producing agent and a rising star. And then sometimes we'll add, if somebody's nominated, like an inspirational agent or an agent who is the culture carrier, they've received that designation, or we do celebrating leaders. I have a lot of agents who call me and say, I'd like to nominate my sales manager because they are awesome. So we do some leadership spotlights as well. And then we have some charity spotlights that we sprinkle in here and there.
Okay. How does, once you determine who is either the rising star or the real producer, How do you go about that interview? What is that process? There's obviously camera work because there's some just beautiful photographs in there, and the backgrounds are beautiful. How do you go planning that and get all that going to go to production?
So once we identify who the feature is going to be, then I hook them up with one of my writers. I have a team of writers, so I hook them up with one of my writers, and then also I have a couple of photographers. So I really set the tone for them that this is your feature, the way you want to be featured. So include your team, your family, your dog, whatever you're passionate about.
Learn a little bit about the individual, the real down to earth. Yeah.
Yep. So the writer will set up a phone interview and ask some questions, and then get the article exactly how they like it, and then we get the photos, and then we go to print.
What determines where you're going to go for photos and sets like that? Because I see multiple different type of stuff that you're going.
So usually the person being featured has a pretty good idea of where they want to be photographed. And if they don't, our photographers are very well versed in the area. They're local photographers for a purpose. So if somebody doesn't have a place that they want to be photographed, the photographer is pretty well versed on some suggestions. And then I also tell people, think out of the box. Think about maybe you have a luxury listing, or somebody in your office has a luxury listing. Use that as a great opportunity for a photo shoot.
Well, that's a pretty good idea there too. And you said the word local. I love the word local because your agents are local and all the vendors are local too. And local seems to help many times in multiple offer or any offer situation because you're using a lender, a local realtor, local services, because I guess it's a small town and everybody knows everybody's reputation.
That's right.
There.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Any other questions for her, Danielle?
Not that I can think of at the moment. I mean, what are you looking for the rest of this year or into next year? Are you still taking nominations? That's an ongoing process.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm always open for nominations. Really looking for some more referral partners, so we can continue to grow the publication. And we will look for those referrals from the top producing agents. So,
back up just a second. How do you get to the realty brokerages out there to let them know that this publication is here and we are looking for nominees for these particular categories? How do you get that word out?
When I do the interviews, I always ask for referrals. There will be times on my social media pages that we will post. If you're a top agent and you have somebody that's doing a great job, please email me them so I can reach out to them and give them the opportunity. By being referred by a top producing agent, you're giving that business something that they may not receive otherwise. So you're giving them the potential to be top of mind every month in that publication. And then when the social event comes up, they have the opportunity to meet that person face to face. So it's really top of mind advertising in conjunction with the social events.
Danielle and I, being lenders, are we allowed to can we email you and say, hey, we've got an agent that we think rocks and we think is an up and shiny star or a top producer?
Absolutely.
Well, top producer comes by the numbers only,
exactly.
Right?
Yep.
But these, but I know some very cool up and shining stars.
Yeah.
So all we got to do is send you an email and say, hey, throw this name in the hat here and check them out.
Yeah. And just give us, a little detail about what they're doing that makes them stand out from the rest, and why they should be a good feature for the rising star, or sometimes we call it agent on the rise.
Okay. So how would an agent or anybody get a hold of you to find out more information or discuss the publication as a vendor, as a referral, as a nomination, and all that?
Well, I love phone calls or text messages, so they can call me on my cell phone, which is 734-558-5646. Or email is great too. So it's alice.whited@n2coco.com.
Okay. Any other questions for her?
I don't think so. Thank you so much, Alice, for coming. This has been great. And
I've learned a lot. Obviously, I was in the dark.
I know.
On a lot of this stuff here.
Okay. Well, this
and I
is
thought
what
I
it
was
takes.
on top of everything.
Okay.
Okay.
You were on top of most things, Vic.
Yeah. But
We'll give you credit.
Okay. Well, again, that was Alice. We got Danielle and myself, Victor Bals, and that was a good show. And we will see you next time here on A Smarter Way Home.
Drive